If you're new here, welcome. I went on a 3-day solo trip to Slovenia and I visited the capital city Ljubljana, Lake Bled, and Triglav National Park. This video is all about Triglav National Park. Triglav National Park is the only national park in Slovenia, and it's named after Mount Triglav. Mount Triglav is the country's highest peak. It stands at 2,864 meters, and it also appears on the Slovenian flag. This is actually inside the national park. It has villages and farms, so people actually live here. Most of the communities, though, they were here before the national park was established. It has been officially established since 1981, but some parts have been protected since the 1920s. Since this is a protected area, the communities here have to follow specific rules when building houses or hotels. It has to be traditional houses, and it's that way because they want to preserve the alpine look. And so they need to have wooden facades, stone bases, sloped roofs, just to match the environment. And this was actually one of the bus stops. As you can see here, you got the timetable. Even the way the bins are set up, they look like they're part of the environment. They just don't stick out. And this, I'm guessing it's a drinking fountain. I'm not exactly sure though. I wasn't really sure how many things I could have seen in this park for a day, but I started off with Mostnica Gorge. This gorge is near the village of Stara Fuzna and Lake Bohinj. So stay tuned for Lake Bohinj. My hotel was also in Lake Bohinj, so I'll show you later on in the video. From my hotel in Lake Bohinj to the gorge, it was about 40 minutes of hiking. That's if I take away all the times I got lost. I was trying to use Google Maps to get there, so yeah, I kept getting lost. I know it's silly, but that's all I had. I was also relying on other people that were hiking, and I have to say I met some really cool people out there. The water here is so clean. To be fair though, Slovenia just felt clean and polished, and they have achievements to back that up, like how the capital city Ljubljana was voted the greenest city in Europe in 2016 by the European Commission. Also, over a third of Slovenia is actually under environmental protection. So yeah, they really do look after the environment. That's why the water in the rivers and lakes here looks so crystal clear and drinkable. And another thing I noticed was the quality of the tap water in Slovenia. After literally 2 days of showering, I could tell a big difference with my skin. It just felt better and smooth. So my skin's really sensitive. It does react to hard water. So sometimes when I visit other places, my skin does feel irritated, but not in Slovenia. Another thing I should point out was the air quality. It was very good. It's one of those places where you don't really think about it until you're there, and then suddenly you realize how fresh everything feels. Now, about the gorge. The river has carved these really smooth twisting rock formations over thousands of years. So as you walk along it, you keep seeing these deep, pools and narrow channels where the water just squeezes through. As you can see here, the water is so clear, you can see the bottom of the river. And then the color of the water, I got lucky because it was a bit sunny. The water just looks bright green and turquoise, but if you don't have a lot of daylight, it will look a bit dull, so just bear that in mind. As you walk around the national park, you will find a lot of other streams of water, so it's not just about that one gorge. Just look at how the towns or villages look with the mountains in the back. And this is somebody's hometown. I also came across this river. I don't know its name though, but if anybody watching knows, please let me know in the comments down below. And I really like that the whole area is protected and the types of tourists visiting here also seemed quite respectful. Well, at least the ones I came across. And I hope it stays that way. I wouldn't want anything to change here. Just being here for a day, I just feel so relaxed. And I haven't been this relaxed in a long time. Anyway, so after I did a lot of walking for about like 3 hours, I went back near my hotel and I went to Lake Bohinj. So this is Lake Bohinj. It's the largest lake in Slovenia and it's around 4.2 kilometers long, 1 kilometer wide, and its depth is 45 meters. It has some of the cleanest water in Europe. I think you can all see that. And the mountains in the back, those are the Julian Alps. The vibe really depends on the weather here. When it's clear, it looks like a postcard. The water has this vibrant greenish kind of blue. And when it's cloudy, it looks like a lot of shades of grey. It was a lot more quieter compared to, let's say, Lake Bled, even though they're not even that far apart. On the bus, it's like 30 minutes away, and from Ljubljana, the capital city, it's about an hour and 30 minutes. So it's not exactly remote, but it feels that way. I was also expecting to see maybe just a lot more tourists, but there weren't that many, which is good. I'm not complaining because sometimes when you're in a location and if there's too many people, you just can't enjoy it. So this was the town near the lake, and from here you can also take a bus straight to Lake Bled and Ljubljana. There are also restaurants, and if you need a supermarket, you can find it here. It's also where my hotel was located. The bus services here are actually quite good. It costed me about €4 from here to Lake Bled. When coming from the airport, I took a taxi because I arrived on a Sunday and I just wasn't sure how often the buses run on Sundays. And the whole trip costed me €60. So from the airport all the way to Lake Bohinj, it costed me €60. Imagine that. This whole area is surrounded by mountains and there's actually wild animals as well in this national park. But besides some birds and maybe some small insects, I didn't really see any. And to be honest, if I knew beforehand that there's bears in this national park, I wouldn't have visited on my own. So apparently the park should have bears, alpine ibex, chamois or chamois, Eurasian lynx, and a lot of other animals. And if you actually want to see the wildlife here, timing and approach really matters, as in you need to be really out early in the morning or late in the evening. Around midday or being around the touristy areas like Lake Bohinj or Mostnica Gorge, you're not going to see them. The most you can see is ducks and the birds and maybe some small insects. And so you need to go further out into the mountains. The White Tower is actually a bell tower of the Church of St. John the Baptist. It's just by the lake. Right at the center of Bohinj, there is this statue representing 4 courageous men. Apparently, these were the first men to climb to the summit of Mount Triglav. And this was as early as 1778. You won't miss this statue when you're in Bohinj. It just kind of like sticks out. It's right at the center. So, after the 3-hour hike to Mostnica Gorge and around Bohinj, it was time for a snack. So, I got some apple strudel and some hot chocolate. And it was so good. For dinner, I had this trout with some potatoes mixed with veggies. I've had this as well in Croatia. I'm not sure what you call this dish, but if anybody knows, please let me know in the comments down below. On the menu, it just said trout and potatoes, but then the potatoes came with the veggies. It was so good though, honestly. Everything just tasted so fresh, like it's been sourced the same day. Both the apastrudo and this was from the restaurant at the hotel I stayed in. It's called Hotel Jazeera. This was my hotel room at Jazeera. It was 99 euros per night for one person, including breakfast. And it had a desk, TV, a wardrobe. And you know what? I actually hardly watch any TV when I'm in hotel rooms because in most cases, I'm at a new location. And once I arrive at a new location, I'm more excited with what's going on outside, not what's going on the TV. Unless maybe there's some kind of disaster and I need to watch the news to keep up. And I mean, this was my view from my balcony in the hotel. So why would I be watching TV at that point? The hotel was clean, it had pretty much everything I needed, and the hotel staff were nice. So I do recommend this hotel in Lake Bohinj. This is the exterior of the hotel, and from the hotel you actually get to see the lake just like this. Look. Just like that. So yeah, I couldn't have picked a better location. There are a lot of other things you can do or see near the lake. It's just that I'm not a hiker. So that little 3 hour hike actually took out all my energy. But if you have the energy, you can also see the Savika waterfall, the Govik waterfall, and there's some viewpoints as well, like the Vogel area, or like, you could also do the cable car. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope to see you in the next video. Bye.